Hello, Miss Mac here. Today I'm going to teach you how to draw a three-dimensional city using one-point perspective. One-point perspective is just a technique that artists use to help create the illusion of a three-dimensional space on a flat piece of paper. In order to use one-point perspective, there are some words that we need to understand. The first word is horizon line. The horizon line is a line that goes across the paper and it just divides where the sky stops and the ground begins. So right here is our horizon line in this picture. If you look here, you can see that the sky is above that line, and below we have the street and the rest of the ground. The next word that we need to know is vanishing point. Our vanishing point is a small imaginary dot that we're going to put on the paper that's going to help us create this whole three-dimensional illusion. Our vanishing point is going to be right here at the end of the street. You can remember the word vanishing point because it's the point on the horizon line at which everything gets so tiny that it looks like it's disappearing. So you can see that road gets smaller and smaller and smaller as it goes back, and then poof, it looks like it disappears right at that point. The next thing that we need to know is the three kind of lines that we're going to use in order to draw this project. The first one is vertical. A vertical line, many of you may know, stands straight up and down, nice and tall. It doesn't lean to the side, it doesn't get lazy and start sagging. We don't want our buildings to look like they're falling over, so it's very important that when we draw a vertical line, it really is straight and tall. The second kind of line that we need to draw is a horizontal line. A horizontal line lies down. We're going to use horizontal lines at the bottom of our buildings and at the top of our buildings, and horizontal kind of sounds like horizon, so our horizon line is going to be horizontal as well. The last kind of line is probably the trickiest, and you may have never heard of it before. It's called an orthogonal line. Many people get these confused with diagonal. Orthogonal lines often are diagonal. So this would be an orthogonal line, this, the sidewalk here. These are all orthogonal lines, but they're diagonal and they point straight at the vanishing point. So if I were to trace along this, you would see that each line points straight to that vanishing point. The sidewalk points straight to the vanishing point. They all point directly there. So the kinds of lines that we're going to use for this project are vertical, horizontal, and orthogonal. If you're pointing your line somewhere else, you're not doing it right. Okay, it's time to get started, I think. All right, let's get the paper and the page. There we go. All right, the first thing that you need to do is take a ruler and make a horizontal line directly across the paper. This is going to be our horizon line. Now you're going to use pencil for all of these steps until you get to the end. Every now and then I'm going to use Sharpie to kind of highlight things and make sure that you can see them easily on the video. So that's my vanishing point. That's going to be the most important part of the picture. I'm going to line up my ruler with the vanishing point to make the road. So this is going to be the road that I make. And it looks just like an upside down V. Now, we know that when things are close to us, they appear larger than things that are far away and off in the distance. So that's why right now our road just looks like a triangle. It'll look right, I promise. Then we're going to come in here and we're going to line it up with the vanishing point, and we're going to draw another line outside of it. This is going to be the sidewalk on either side of our street. Next, I'm going to make a horizontal line across the bottom here, and then I'm going to make another one on top for the sidewalk. So those are a lot of lines. Basically, there are two coming out here, two coming out here. Those are all orthogonal lines. Then I have two horizontal lines coming across. Now I'm going to erase these two parts. these two. Now I'm going to go over it in Sharpie just so you can see the lines that you should keep versus the ones that you should erase. This is going to make it look like a street right at an intersection. So it looks like cars can come this way or go this way. All right, there we go. This is our street, and then this is where we're going to put our buildings. So in order to make a building, the first thing we need to do is line our ruler up right here at the corner of our sidewalk. So, and I'm going to make a vertical line. It needs to be completely vertical, not just a little vertical and kind of leaning. It needs to be straight up and down to make this look right. This is going to be the corner of our building. So then I'm going to use this line that's already here for the sidewalk to make part of my rectangle. If you want to use a ruler, I think I'm going to help keep the line nice and straight. So there's one of my rectangles. Now I'm going to come over here and do another one. It doesn't need to be the exact same size. In fact, it'd probably look a little weird to have all our buildings be identical. So I'm going to make it a little taller than the one I did before. So I used vertical and horizontal lines to make those rectangles. Now I need to make them look 3D. So this is the tricky part. So this is really important that you pay attention. We're going to have this corner of the building and our vanishing point line up on the edge of the ruler. And it's almost like connect the dots. You could draw a line the whole way from here to the dot, but we don't really need to. So we're going to stop part way. So I'm going to draw part of an orthogonal line, just a little bit. You know you did it right if that orthogonal line points straight to your vanishing point. If it points up here, or down here, or over here, or over here, you're doing it wrong. So I'm going to trace over that so it's easy for you to see. And then I'm going to make, from the edge of that line, a vertical line that comes down. And voila, it's a 3D building. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Line up the vanishing point and the corner of my building and draw a short line. Then I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to try to make it as straight and tall and vertical as I can. We don't want these buildings to fall over. Alright, so here are the first two buildings that I made. I think they look pretty nice. Now I'm going to show you how to draw buildings that appear to go behind those buildings. Alright. In order to do that, we need to start the same way with a vertical line. Now this building's going to be beside my first one, but I'm going to leave a little bit of space so it looks like there's an alley in between them. So here's my vertical line. I'm going to make this one taller than that one though. So there's a vertical line, and then comes the rectangle. So I'm going to draw the rest of the rectangle. I'm not going to be able to see the whole thing because there's a building in my way, so I'm just going to stop right there. Then it comes time to connect the corner to the dot. I kind of call it connect the dots, but again, we're not going to draw it the whole way. We're just going to draw it a little bit. And then a vertical line. The one thing we need to do here that we didn't have to do before is draw a teeny tiny little horizontal line there to make it look like there's an alley you can walk back into. So I'm going to trace all this with the marker so you can see it very clearly. And there you go. Now I'm going to do one behind this one. This time I'm going to make the building shorter than the first one. So again, we want a vertical line and it's going to be right next door, but I want some space so there's an alley in between. So I'm going to make my vertical line and it's shorter than the last one. And then I need the horizontal part here and down here to make it look like that. We can walk right back into that alley. Now I need to connect the corner of the building to the vanishing point, draw a short line, and stop. Then I have my vertical line right there, and voila. Alright, now we did two buildings in the front and then two behind them. Now I'm going to show you how to draw two beside them. So again, we're going to have a vertical line here, and we're going to give it some space so there can be an alley between the buildings. So there's my vertical line, and then I'm going to make the front of the building right there. Now, here we need to connect the corner to the vanishing point, and we just draw a line until we hit that other building. Down here, same thing. And there we go. I'm going to do the same thing over here where I have a vertical line. And I need a horizontal line for the top of the building. You can go ahead and connect the vanishing point in the corner. Make a little line until you run into the next building. Then at the bottom corner to the vanishing point, and a little line until we run into the next building. And see how these alleys, it looks like you can walk down into them? Now I'm going to draw over my horizon line in the background. That's the only space you're actually going to see it. The rest of it you can erase. You wouldn't be able to see it because there are buildings in your way. So any other lines that you forgot to erase can go. And there you go. You can go back and add things like lines on the road. You can add clouds in the sky. You can add a sun peeking out back here. Any sort of details you want. I'm so excited to see what kind of details you come up with. You could make these buildings any buildings you want. They could be real buildings that you've seen before. They could be made up buildings. They could be anything you come up with. So I'm very excited to see what you have in mind. Until next time, see ya.